The deep state and the deep church also operate in a similar fashion. Both of them make use of a strongly hierarchical structure in which the democratic, and here he puts scare quotes on it, Viganò, in which the democratic component is practically absent. Orders are given from on high, and those who receive them execute them immediately, with the knowledge that disobedience can lead to professional failure, social condemnation, and, in certain cases, even physical death. This obedience, says Viganò, comes from blackmail. I promote you, I give you power, I make you become rich and famous, but in exchange, you must do whatever I tell you to do. If you obey and show you are faithful, your power and your riches increase. If you disobey, you're finished. And then Viganò says, I imagine the German readers will spontaneously think of Goethe's Faust, where you sell your soul to the devil. You make a deal with him. You get all these powers, all these skills, all these talents, all this riches. But in exchange, you give yourself 100% over to these powers. Viganò then says, the politicians who govern nations today are all, with rare exceptions, part of the deep state. If not, they would not be where they are. Let's think about the case of the American presidential election since November 3rd. Since President Trump was not considered to be aligned with the prevailing thought, it was decided to oust him with an electoral fraud of unheard of proportions, says Viganò, which coincidentally brought a Democratic progressive Catholic to the White House who is perfectly aligned with the agenda of the Great Reset, says Viganò. On closer inspection, the resignation of Benedict XVI and the election of Jorge Maria Bergoglio seem to respond to the same dynamics and to have been orchestrated by the same power lobby. In other words, those who have the same message, human fraternity, ecumenism, religious indifferentism, Catholicism not as the one true religion, but as one of many in a Luby's cafeteria setting. And then he's asked, what do you think can be done to avoid this development of a tyranny of Satan, which he calls a tyranny of Satan? He says, we cannot allow through the boogeyman of a pandemic created by a committee nations to be prostrated by an induced economic and social crisis, nor that the population be subject to the limitations of liberty and violation of the law and common sense itself. If we are able to stand firm and not retreat before these general tests of dictatorship, the deep state will withdraw, awaiting a more propitious times. And we will have time to avert the establishment of tyranny. But if we let things go, says Viganò, we will make this infernal plan irreversible. He says, let us not forget, as Catholics, we Catholics, have a very great responsibility, both towards our pastors as well as towards those who govern us. Our obedience can and must cease in the moment in which we are asked to obey sinful laws or laws contrary to the unchanging magisterium of the church. Pause. Notice that Viganò didn't say living magisterium, like it's always growing and evolving. No, the unchanging magisterium of the church. Viganò closes up and says, if our opposition is firm and courageous, like the time of the martyrs, we will have done our part to obtain from heaven those graces which can change the lot of humanity and delay the persecution of the end times. Let us pray, therefore, says Viganò. Let us pray with faith to the most holy Virgin, Queen of victories, and help of Christians, that she may be our general in this epochal battle. May the glorious Archangel Michael be at her side, he who casts into hell Satan and the other evil spirits, qui ad perditionem animorum pervagantur in mundo. Archbishop Carlo Maria Viganò.